frontier. This is Football Daft with Stephen Purden,
midfield dynamo and average actor,
Chris Toll,
target man, suspicious character,
and
Hey, the top end of Stevenson, Grado!
Welcome to Football Daft, the daftest Scottish football podcast around. My name's Stephen Purden, and let's welcome your starting lineup. First, let's welcome a man who's just learned to play the Stereophonic song I Wouldn't Believe Your Radio and Metallica song Nothing Else Matters on the guitar. It's Grado. Well done, big man.
I know, I fancy it a wee notion. It's probably the arse end.
Wait a minute, hold on. Go and get the guitar.
It's in Stephanie's. Go and get the guitar.
I was going to say, off this minute. Graham, get the guitar.
I just was driving home from Kilmarnock, and then I thought, you know what? Because I went and I was so bored all night, right? I typed in like top 10 hobbies for men, right? And it was like,
What was number one?
Number one was I can't even remember. I think it was something like
Masturbating.
well, I fucking mastered that hobby. Number one was something like I think it was fishing or something like that.
Aye.
Could be said, but then one that it came up for the guitar, and I was like, and there was one in Argos for 60 bangers. So I went, fuck it, I'm playing that because I done music at school or cooking and grilling. That was number one, and home brewing beer was the other one.
Cooking and grilling. See, your old dad has jumped right in there.
Good thing that.
You're playing the
Do you
guitar
know-
and talking.
do you know-
Man, innit? It's a hobby, man.
Do you know it was number 4? Leather working. So I was actually going to start buying leather and make my own wrestling belts.
By the way, no, listen, yous are laughing. A Grado branded wrestling belt, that's going to pull in fucking money.
Well, there's a wee guy up in Aberdeen, man, Paul Martin, fucking cheap plug for that. He sells belts for about $2,000.
I know.
I'd love that. Make a wee fucking shed outside, man. And
Yeah, mate,
Big
just
belts.
do that for like November to January. Takes care of planning.
Well, I know, sad news, guys. If
It'll
yous-
take him from November to January to make one fucking belt.
Aye, thanks for bringing that up, Bob. Sad news in the front of the pavilion. We'll not get my Panto this year, so you can't see us at Panto. So devastated at that, isn't it, Bob?
It's a weird one. It's going to be the first time in about 15 years I've not done Panto, and I'm not sharing a dressing room with Grado for 2 months. And he did send a wee voice note last night. It kind of hurt your heart last night, didn't it, big man? And
I was like, I'm just going to miss you. I'm not going to get to see you every day. Like, this is a thing, and I just think that something will end up happening. You probably will never do Panto again, and I'll probably never see you again.
And he sent me that last night, and I was sitting playing pro clubs with the boys, and I'm like, mate, it's cool, man. I'm still getting a podcast. I'll catch you later.
You're a heartless bastard, man.
No.
And now, let's welcome a man who this week has discovered steak lawn slices with jalapenos. It's
Aye.
Chris Toll.
That's right, by the way. And what you're saying there, Grado, a cheap plug. I found this place that my mate put us on to. It's called Fallon Inch Farm, right? And it's in Stirling, but they deliver. And all the food comes directly for the farm. All the meat and all
I'm
that.
not a big fan of liver, mate.
What? They also do beef, chicken and fish.
That did look minted, mate, with your jalapeno slice.
I look, me. I actually, strangely, I never actually bought the ones. I bought fucking other ones instead. But mate, lads, get on it, man. The fucking quality of the food's tremendous. But anyway, football, eh?
No, that's us finished with the old guitar playing in the sausage chat. So
What about
big
you,
chat.
Stevie? What have you been up to this week?
Mate, I'm back. And more good news. Well, that wasn't good news about the panel, but I mean, good news is like River City will be back filming soon. So we're back this week doing camera tests and whatnot, getting everything all sorted. We're going to start back filming very soon. So I've been doing it the old Shield Inch this week a couple of times.
Nice
Just getting
one.
ready.
Mate,
to start back filming.
I've been pissing myself watching Coronation Street because they're obviously doing the social distancing. Man, it's hilarious. There was like two fucking... There was the bride and groom were getting married and they're like 10 metres apart from one there. I'm like... I know they've got to like go to the restrictions and stuff like that, but man, I bet you when they go to the bog and all that, they bump into one another and all that shit. It's fucking...
Did they have to CGI the kiss at the end?
Mate, you're laughing, but CGI's apparently they're using that in EastEnders.
Seriously.
Aye, they're using CGI in EastEnders.
Man, it's going to be like a sci-fi channel movie.
No.
It's
So
gonna
what's
be
our mega rules, Bob?
Oh, big time, mate, big time. Aye, like even like when you're no filming, like going about the building and all that, it's very, very different. But it's what needs to be done for the foreseeable, man. And the bottom line is we're back working, so that's all.
That's the main thing, innit, man? That's the main
Exactly.
thing.
But troops, onto the football this week. Yeah, what's happening in the old football world, man? Lyndon Dykes to QPR. Happened there.
Aye, I know. That was
No,
well.
I was totally on Sunday, but when the football come on, man, and they showed Lyndon Dykes in his trackies and he wasn't playing, I thought, right, man, we should be up for this today, man. This is good for us. Lyndon Dykes not playing fucking made absolute fuck all difference at all, man.
Oh, Sunday was an absolute nightmare. I felt like I was 19 again. Obviously, we spoke about it on Rangers Daft, but I was punching furniture, kicking furniture, throwing my hat, shouting at the top of my voice. It was just so fucking frustrating, man. So frustrating. The same old movie for the season, man.
Ask me this one. Why are you going up to a team that are going to obviously be packing their defence? Two fucking banks of 5 with a goalie. That's what you're playing against. Why are Rangers playing 2 defensive midfielders against that?
Oh, that's what we said again on Wrestling Daft. See, playing fucking Ryan Jack.
Daft, mate.
Football Daft. See,
Rangers Daft.
Rangers Daft. Fuck. Kamara and Jack, man, in the same team. What is that all about? Kamara was so frustrating, just slowed everything down. Why are these cunts feel to drive forward? Honestly.
What about Celtic, Toll? Your team was back playing the old Champions League qualifiers.
Again, it's just Hamilton Ackies all over again, innit? You've got to be wary of the level of competition. But job done, man. Professional as fuck, actually, out there. There was at no point did that team offer any sort of attacking. They had one effort at goal, and they got a goal chopped off actually in the second half, but the guy was a fucking mile and a half offside. But they didn't offer anything at all. They offered no resistance when Celtic were going forward either. But there's still just that everything kind of came for the wings. We don't have that going through the middle. We've not got it, man. And we need to get somebody. Ironically, we've just sold Tom Rogic, I think. And he's like one of 2 players that I think that we've got that can play that final ball. So I don't know what the fuck's going to happen for the rest of the season, man.
What you're saying, Toll, sounds like the same problem we've got in the middle of the park. There's no penetration from the middle of the park. All your stuff comes through wide for 2 fullbacks and maybe Kent, maybe Hadji a wee bit, but he's flattened to deceive. And in the middle of the park, man, we've not really got in coming for the centre, man. Do you know what I mean?
Aye, I know. I understand what you're saying about Hadji. I was saying to John yesterday on Celtic Daft, I read somebody's tweet. He says, I've been watching, this is a Rangers fan, by the way. I've been watching Hadji for the last 4 games now, and I can confirm that he gets his football talent off his mom.
He's honestly, man, I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's going on with him. I don't know. He's got the ability, but
what you've got to take into account is there's a reason that Genk let him go for that amount of money. You know what I mean? And then signed Eboué Kouassi as his fucking replacement.
Right, so on the show today, we welcome a man who made his name with clubs like Falkirk, Celtic and Hibs before guiding Falkirk to promotion, a Scottish Cup and winning the Scottish Cup with Inverness. It's John Yogi Hughes. And it's my turn on the Legends Lottery, and after Chris's failure last week, I have the chance to go clear at the top of the leaderboard. That, Chris, how'd you like that? Huh? And on the big question...
See if you get the guy that I was meant to have last week on. Whoa!
Yeah, told. Yeah, imagine that.
Mate, that would be worse than Mo Johnson.
On the big question this week, we're saying who is the best player you've seen playing against your team. Plus, another chance to win free beer in the Pro Set playoff. Details later on. And now, with more ins and outs than a porno movie, it's Chris Toll's Rumour Mill.
Here comes the rumour mill, and I'm not even trying.
Well, lads, I've scoured the land for my rumours this week, but the main one, and I know that we've spoke about this guy moving on before, but my team down in England, Leeds, are sniffing about Ryan Kent.
Yep.
Now, saying a deal worth 10 million, he's saying that he wants to stay. Personally, I think Rangers would be stupid to take 10 million for him, because if he has a right good season this season, then you could maybe get double that. Like, if they're wanting to do business the way Celtic are doing it, then that's what they should be looking to do. Bayern Munich have finally sorted out their offer for Aaron Hickey, 1.5 million. Now he's being undersold there, in my opinion. He's a right good player, but did you ever think you'd see the day that Bayern Munich were signing a player for the Scottish Championship?
Do you think, right, you look at bloody Liverpool with Andy Robertson, you look at Arsenal with Kieran Tierney, do you think all these big teams just sit and go, look at their team and go, you know what we need, man? A Scottish left back, man. Why try it? Because there's Arsenal got Tierney, right? That boy's no bad. There's Liverpool got Andy Robertson. We'll try and sign a wee Scottish boy, play left back, see if he's any good.
Next one, we touched on it earlier on. Tom Rodgick's nearly away. He's going to Qatar. Now listen, this guy can't finish 90 minutes in the Scottish weather. How in the name of fuck is he going to finish 90 minutes in Qatari weather?
Jake will finish a half in that fucking weather, man, earlier.
He'll need a fucking half after it. Then we've got Ipswich striker James Norwood remains a target for Dundee United. The player and the manager worked together at Tranmere Rovers back in the day. Rangers midfielder Greg Docherty is close to complete a 3-year, 400,000 move to Hull. He had a medical on Tuesday ahead of the transfer. That's a bit of a strange one for me. Docherty down to Hull.
I thought he'd ended up at Hibs, but I take it Hibs can't afford the 400,000, I would imagine, would you think?
I don't know what's happening there, if they've been outbid by Aberdeen for a player, and Aberdeen have been fucking screaming poverty. There's something must be going on at Hibs.
I think it's maybe just a wee member me trying to sign Scott Allen for his Hibs.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Aye. Oh, maybe aye. They might have missed out on the Aberdeen striker Sam Crosgrove, but French side Geenkamp are scouring the Scottish player pool and have Dundee United's Lawrence Shankland in their sights. Now, French side Geenkamp, can you see Lawrence Shankland banging them in the fucking French second division?
Probably, aye.
Aye, but come on, who's want to go to France?
I can't see him accepting. I thought you meant Jink. He's capable of doing it.
Oh, mate, he's capable of scoring goals anywhere.
No, I can't see him being attracted to that proposition unless it's like fucking silly money he's getting offered. But I don't even think he's been on the show. This boy, he looks comes across as quite a level-headed boy. I don't think he'd want to just sell out. Do you know what I mean? Do you?
I do think it's funny how we're assessing him how well he done that podcast. I mean, he was on here. Seems as if he's got his heat screwed on just because he was on this podcast.
I was trying to feel diplomatic, man, because I just remembered he's been on this show before.
But fuck it, it's as if like the Geen Camp fucking coaching staff have been like that. Watch him on that Fit by Daft, man. He talks a lot of sense, man. Put a bid in. Go on well with fucking Shield Suit Bob.
Fuck's sake.
Fucking check your emails, John. See if Geenkamp are in the Patreon.
Right, so we're going to roll the dice now, and we're going to see whether we get Jim or Nicole. So who are we getting today?
You're getting Jim. Unfortunately,
sorry guys. Jesus, Jim, for God's sake. Right, Jim, are you going to tell us about G4 Claims?
Absolutely. Right, G4 Claims specialise in non-fault accidents. If you have a non-fault accident, contact G4 Claims on 01698 767 172. We'll supply you with a replacement vehicle. Get your car repaired. Don't pay your policy excess. You don't have to claim your insurance. Even if the car's a total loss, you still get a vehicle. Even so, I'm feeling generous today. I'm going to pay your commission if you call us today if you have a non-fault accident. 01698 767 172.
There we go, so.
There you go.
Not at fault claims.
Not at fault claims.
Fault claim.
Not at fault claims.
Not at fault claims.
Dead easy.
What are you doing with that stuff? Well, that's putting me right after.
There you go, Jim. Right, Jim, thanks very much for that information about G4 claims. But the only reason I want you on the show is so that we can get one of the fucking jokes off you. Are you going to tell us one of the jokes?
Right, okay, I'll give you a treat today, right?
Right,
I was
okay.
having problems with my WhatsApp on my phone, right?
Right.
So I downloaded this thing called Bugs Bunny.
Right.
So it's actually called WhatsApp Doc.
Oh. At least we'll not need to censor that one, Jim.
The Legends Lottery on Football Daft.
Scott Walker, Mickey Weir, Brian McPhee, Ivo Den Byman is just some of the names we've spoken to as we once again rev up for Legends Lottery. Each week, one of the team is tasked to finding a former hero and getting them on the show. Then you rate how good they were out of 5. Nasco this week is Chris failed last week, so the top of the leaderboard is still wee Bob at 15.6. Chris is on 13.9, while I'm rock bottom with 7.8. It's now Bob's chance to upstretch his lead, but can he deliver?
Yeah, do you know what I'm thinking, man? You're nearly catching toe. Grado.
Aye.
Yes.
Well, not next
Listen,
week. If
I'm closer to you than he is to me.
Mate, if he gets a good one next week, man, he's right up your arse, by the way.
He gets one every fucking 5 weeks or something. You know what I mean? Every 5 turns, I'm safe as houses, man.
Who was it? That one you get.
Ivo Den Beeman.
Aye, what was it you were at, man? Ivo Den Byman.
Ivo Den Byman.
It's been a while for he was on, man. Come on. Was that him that was talking about fish suppers and all that?
No, he was talking about fish and chips. That was him and Hamish French.
Aye, that's it. Mm-hmm.
Right, troops, this week, right? I got somebody. I've had a busy week back at River City and all that. So this week, wee bit out the box, man. Wee bit outside the box. Explore the Women's Football League.
Oh,
Oh,
cool.
right.
The Women's Football League, right? Be no surprise to you, it's an ex-Rangers player, right? Ex-Rangers player. She now plies her trade at Hearts. She's from Grado's neck of the
Lisa
woods.
Swanson.
What?
It's Lisa Swanson.
Aye.
Yes.
There you go, you got it. Lisa Swanson.
Lisa
Well
Swanson.
done, that's a good one.
Yeah, a minute, do you know Lisa?
A day, aye. I know Lisa. How's it going, Lisa? You alright?
How are you?
Top of the world.
I just gave a few wee hints of who it is I've got this week.
All right.
Grado's like, boom, right away, Lisa Swanson.
Aye.
So tell us what you've been doing during lockdown. How's it been treating you?
I've been working through it, so I'm working from home now. I was also injured, so I couldn't really do anything training-wise, so I was a wee bit demented with that, but obviously I'm still lucky enough that I was able to work, so I just kind of kept busy that way.
So what's the deal, Lisa? How did you end up at Hearts?
Well, when I left Kilmarnock, that was kind of going to be like my last year in football. So just everything that happened with Rangers, I wanted to kind of prove myself and get back in the top league again. Just the way it ended there for me, I felt as if I had a point to prove. I'm no longer at Hearts though. They've not officially released me yet. So no, during lockdown, I'm going through a career change. So, and I've also moved. I've moved up to Coat Bridge.
Talk us through your time at Rangers. You're saying the way it ended at Rangers and stuff. Talk us through your time at Rangers and how it ended and stuff.
So I signed on, it was 10th August 2007. I got a phone call. I was at a Scotland trial that day, and I thought I'd done well, and I thought I was going to be in the team. I scored for 20-30 yards out and everything, and I thought, I think I've made the Scotland team. And then you find it there and then if you've made it or not, and I never made it. So I went back down the road, all the way back down to Perth, and that night I got a phone call. It was a guy called John McMonagle. He's like, "Hi, I'm John McMonagle for Rangers Football Club." He's like, "I want you," he's like, "you, Stephanie Breen and another girl to come along for a trial at Rangers. It's like, can you be at Annie's Land for this time, whatever?" And I was like, "I've never even heard of Annie's Land. I didn't even know where that was. I'm just for Saltcoats. I've not been out of Ayrshire." And only been to Ibrox, so I'm speaking like Google Maps how to get here. So Stephanie was up. We've just met this random guy who's introduced himself as John McMonagle and just jumped in his car, and then
Oh,
there's
that could have worked out differently.
that's the chances you take. And then we ended up training for like 6 weeks, and then we just get kept on. We signed the Rangers, and then the season after the women's team was made, so we then went up to the women's team together. And
Hold on a wee minute. Sorry for interrupting you, right? But how have you signed for Rangers if they didn't have a women's team yet? What?
So they had in 2017 they formed an under-17s, and that's all they had.
Right.
And then 2018 the women's team was formed.
Right.
So we were aged to go up there.
They're going from strength to strength now. I think there's a lot of money getting put into both Celtic and Rangers women's teams this year.
So that was kind of one of my issues. Because I came back from Finland. I went over there and played for like 3 months. So I came back from Finland and I spoke to the manager, because like Celtic were flying, like the way like their women's team were being treated, and they were being backed like 100% by the guys team. And I felt that Rangers, we were kind of falling behind a wee bit. So I spoke to the manager about it, just like a general conversation. And also at that same time, like the Rangers women's team were doing a huddle. And we were getting like a massive backlash on social media because of that. And people were calling us a disgrace, and this is why we don't take the women's team serious and everything. So I spoke to the manager and I was like, we're not getting the backing here of the guys team. Just kind of spoke about a few things, and then ever since I spoke out about that, I was on the bench. I was benched like every week, and it wasn't as if the team were like winning and it was hard to get in the team. I think the team were losing like 3-4 games in a row, and then maybe win 1-0, then go and lose like another 2-3 games. And I'm just sitting on the bench. Like, I felt as if I deserved to play, and I was doing absolutely everything I could to like away from football. I ended up seeing like a sports psychologist and everything. And then the second time I asked like what do I need to do to get back in this team, she kind of said to me, well, Kilmarnock are interested, why don't you go on loan? So Kilmarnock played a league below, so I wasn't too sure like what to do. So I was like, right, I'll just go because she's mentioned it. So I said, right, I'll go and get game time and prove that I can score goals. So I ended up going on loan to Kilmarnock, and we played Rangers in a friendly. And then in that same game, I noticed like my squad number was taken off me, which I thought was a bit unusual. Like, I've had that number for day one. Technically, I'm still a Rangers player because I'm only on loan. Mm-hmm. And then I later found out like that was done to wind me up basically. So I ended up at Kilmarnock. I think it was 8 games I played. I won like top goal scorer. I won player of the month for September, and I won like goal of the season. So I'm thinking to myself, right, surely to God, like I've made an impression at least. So I goes back up to Ibrox for like my final meeting, and then I was told like, well, basically you did well at Kilmarnock, but they were like a league below, so you should have been doing well. I'm thinking to myself, but you sent me there, like you sent me there to go and kind of prove myself. Like there's nothing more I could have done, nothing more I could have achieved. And then I was told, like, due to my mental health, like the manager didn't want to like be responsible, like for me going on a downward spiral, like for not getting game time. So that kind of told me that I wasn't in the plans to play, and I felt as if that just kind of like totally disregarded like everything that I've kind of been through and overcame. Because by this point I wasn't like seeing anyone at all, like doctors, psychologists, like they were happy to sign me off. Like I progressed so well, and I felt as if I'm just fighting a losing battle here. So that's like why I ended up leaving Rangers in the end. I felt as if I couldn't do any more what I was already doing.
So that is a bit of a rough way to end, because I mean you were there like for what, how long, 10, 11 years or something like
11
that?
years, 11 years I was there.
Obviously there must have been some mega highlights, but in terms of when you play with Rangers,
definitely. We played in Saltcoats, so we played against a boys team in Saltcoats. First time I ever played in my hometown, and it meant like my nana got to come and see me. So my teammate at the time, Jenny Conde, she just like overruled the manager. She took the armband out and gave it to me, so I got to be like captain for the day, like in my hometown. Like it's probably the most like meaningless game I've ever played in my life, but just like a friendly against a boys team, but I got to captain Rangers and my nana was there.
Did you win?
So, no, I don't think we won. I think it was like a draw, they won by 1 goal. It was just like a friendly, it was to raise money for Saltcoats firework display so that could go ahead.
Funny you say that, because Grado pays for that every year now.
Yeah,
Cheer him though.
so this year, no panel this year.
Do you feel a wee bit angry that these suggestions that you've put forward has got you kind of sin-died for them, and then now they're now taking these suggestions and moving forward?
I remember we had like a team meeting about it and everything, like what do you as players think, like how do you think the club should be moving forward and what should be happening? And in my final meeting, like that's one of the positive things that were said to me, like you've made me realise like what it's like to be at this football club and the direction it should be going in and everything. So it's as if like she said it, like the manager said to me as well, that if I ever want to come up and like see the younger team, because they all knew who I was. So that's like, for me, that was like saying, do you know what, a lot of people know you, you've helped to raise the profile of the women's team, but don't really need you anymore. So,
It's kind of mixed signals, isn't it?
I'd tell him to go and take a fuck to herself, to be honest with you.
We know you would, Tom.
No. Lisa, have you ever thought about now, kind of like, because there is this kind of insurgence of women's football and stuff like that, you ever thought about like getting into the coaching side of it?
I probably prefer to coach like younger teams, see like age 11 onwards, like a girls team. I've done a wee bit of like 1-to-1 coaching, which was good. There's a few wee girls for Saltcoats who are like on trial with Kilmarnock now, so I went down and coached them, and that was good. I think I enjoyed that more than taking like a team session, so I did.
You probably, a lot of these young lasses will probably look up to you because you've done it with Rangers, you've done it with Killie and Hearts, so a lot of wee lasses around about here that look up to you or inspired by you.
I don't know, like maybe when I stop playing, because even when I'm coaching, even if it's kids, like, I want to join in, and obviously I can't, so I can't be slide tackling the kids.
You can't be 2 foot and an 11-year-old.
So what you thinking about the men's first team this season? What you thinking, how we started and stuff?
Well, before Livingston, I was like, we're a certainty this season. Then obviously the Livingston game happened, and that's us kind of brought back down to earth again. It seems to be the same every season.
If you've not learned your fucking lesson yet, it's the same every year.
Toe. I was asking Lisa. Thank you. Cheers.
Sorry, I apologise. Go ahead, Lisa.
John, mute him now.
No, but I know I need to learn my lesson quick because I'm just getting disappointed all the time.
I mean, we can still be optimistic, man. We've only dropped a couple of points.
Do you know what? It's the optimism that kills you, and it's fucking brilliant watching it.
Yeah. Oh, do you know what's going to kill you? Fucking Lisa stays round the corner for you. See me in the league.
She's moved away from Coatbridge, and she doesn't know where the Beth Park is, so I'm fucking safe as choices.
I know where you stay, and I'll fucking text Lisa your address.
Fuck. Grad, you can't let this happen to me, bro. Come on, I've known you the longest.
No comment.
Well, Lisa, thanks a lot for coming on, pal. I really appreciate you taking up your time and coming on.
Thanks for having me.
So you listen every week, don't you?
Every week, I love it. It's weird, isn't it?
Yeah, and Lisa,
Lisa, all the best with your new career and stuff like that.
Thanks very much.
Well.
Thanks a lot, pal. Cheers.
Football Daft's big question.
Right, troops, there's some players that come up against your side that you just have to sit back and admire. So this week, we asked, who is the best player you've ever seen against your side? What do you think, boys?
For me, it's Ronaldinho.
What's yours, Paul? Louder.
Ronaldinho's mine and us, too.
Ronaldinho. Messi. Fucking... there's been so many. Honestly, seeing the Champions League nights at Parkhead. So, Cristiano Ronaldo. Wayne Rooney was fucking unplayable. Wayne Rooney was incredible.
Do you know who was one of the best players I've ever seen at Ibrox? Lillian Thuram, when he played for Parma.
Parma game, I remember that.
Do you remember Raquelme against Rangers?
Oh, mate.
Villarreal.
Different club. Mendieta, but man, Mendieta was fucking, he played for Valencia and all that.
That's right. That was the year they went to the final, wasn't it?
Aye.
Did Buffon play for Parma as well when Rangers played? No, aye.
And he said, he done an interview no long ago saying it's the best one of the best atmospheres he's ever experienced in his life.
Del
sure
Piero.
Del Piero.
Paolo Maldini.
Yeah.
Fuck's sake, man. Honestly, see when you think about it. Seedorf, Kaká for AC Milan against us, man. Fucking hell.
Aye. We played Kaká in a friendly, and I think Beckham played as well. That was a good win.
Well, I'll tell you one, the best one ever at Parkhead, and we mentioned him when Kevin Harper was on. Robert Prozinecki was unbelievable against Celtic, man.
One of the best performances for a player I've ever seen at Ibrox in the Champions League is when Leon came to Ibrox after we'd pumped them 3-0 there. Benzema scored a hat-trick. He absolutely fucking destroyed us, man. Honestly, he was so good.
Aye.
Did Darcheville not miss a sitter right before they scored the goals?
Aye.
Absolutely. That was actually a blessing in disguise, to be honest with you. But anyway.
We've got some listeners have said, Alan has said, Mendieta for Valencia Ibrox. Boy, totally ran the show. Couldn't agree more, Alan. Fraser says, Kaká, when he was still the Ballon d'Or holder, just to be subbed for Ronaldinho when Pompey drew 2-2 at Fratton Park with AC Milan. My abiding memory of that game is Stan Collymore on commentary saying he'd eat his hat if Ronaldinho scores from a free kick, which of course Ronaldinho did, to which he replied, I'm glad that I'm not wearing the hat. There we go.
Callum says Wayne Rooney against Aberdeen played in a friendly with United, or it could have been a testimonial. He can't quite remember.
Dave says it has to be Del Piero of the Juventus team that came to Ibrox in '95. Peak levels of Italian football in all its glory. Serie A on Channel 4 every week when football was football. Do you remember Alec Cleland's still looking for fucking Del Piero now?
He's still there, man. He's still there. Because I remember he nearly got him, then he just get his absolute breaks pulled down. He's still there. He's still inching looking for Alessandro now.
I think Pierre Billy Thompson was in goals with 2 legs, I
know.
Mark says Yaya Toure for Barcelona at Parkhead. Absolutely controlled the game and hardly moved for the centre circle.
Gordon says Van der Vaart, Spurs versus Hearts. He ran a show at Tiny and a 5-0 win for them.
Well, actually, obviously Van der Vaart's going to run the show if he's playing against a bunch of Hats. Right. You never even noticed that one there, Stevie. You're usually first to jump in. Robert says, actually mentions the one that you said, Karim Benzema against Rangers. Almost as good a player as Jean-Claude Darstall.
Oh, calm down, Robert. He wasn't that good. Calm down, Robert. He wasn't that good, know what I mean? Jim says, Matthias Sammer for Dortmund against Motherwell. What a player Sammer was. What a player. Incredible player. Sean says, Mbappe against Celtic in the Champions League a couple of seasons ago. I'm still waking up in cold sweats about that night.
Mbappe, who had you on toast that night single-handedly, it was unbelievable.
Aye, so was Cavani and so was fucking Neymar as well.
Aye.
You know what I mean? What you meant to do against that?
Ross has got a good one all the way from Falkirk. He says Brian Laudrup and Paul Gascoigne in the mid-90s versus Falkirk, both at Brockville and at Ibrox.
I was at that game. Peter Houston, I think, for years that day.
Aidan says Moussa Dembele, wife of a Morton fan, eh?
David says Hibs, an 18-year-old by the name of Lionel Messi, ran the snow with Thierry Henry and Ronaldinho in a preheated season friendly.
A preheated season friendly.
Poor wee Lewis Stevenson never stood a chance.
I remember that. Remember they played Hibs and Dundee United pre-season.
Aye.
Brilliant.
Stephen says Riquelme was unreal against Ranger. The cigar was out all night.
Jason says Gaza v Hibs 7-0 at Ibrox. He done us that day and he even get done by the ref.
That was shocking. Daniel says Red Star Belgrade legend Prosinecki smoked about 80 fags a day and strolled about the park with slippers and a pipe as they humped Rangers 3-0 in Belgrade. Guy was pinging 60 yards within an inch of target every time.
There you go, man.
That's what you get me. 80 fags and a pipe.
Rab says Mendieta as well. Rab saying Mendieta. Stu says Wesley Sneijder when Falkirk beat Ajax 2. Like, right, wait a minute.
Right.
Where's that one?
This is true. It's true. Ajax came over in a pre-season friendly. They had all their big players. Vermaelen was playing. Schneider was playing. Who else was playing? It was a big Ajax team, and we beat them 2-1.
Fucking hell. How long ago was that?
That was when the stadium first opened. This is about 10 years ago.
About 10 years ago, so you're looking at...
Longer than that. It would have been longer than that. It would have been 15, 16 years ago.
So was Zlatan there?
Zlatan wasn't playing with them at the time, no.
Right,
so wasn't playing with them.
Aye, because it would have been 8-2 to fucking Ajax if Zlatan had been playing.
And Bob, he doesn't give the details. He doesn't give the details of who he supports, but he simply says Kevin Kyle.
Oh, how could I forget about Big Kev, man? What a player he was, man.
It's once again time to play the Pro Set playoff to win a case of beer 52. And as Anne didn't beat Grado last week, Grado was a victor. It's a 2-crate rollover. So if you don't know how this works, basically we've got the Pro Set playoff cards from 91-92 season in my hands here. I'm going to read out the description of a player from that season, and the person who buzzes in first gets to guess who it is and gets a point. First to 2 wins. And on the line to play today, it is Derek Johnston, not that one.
How you doing, my man? You good?
Good, mate. Good. Yourselves?
All right, my man. All right.
All right, Derek. Welcome to the show. I hope you don't draw me because I get turned over the last time.
How clued up in your 91-92 season footballers, Derek?
Well, to be honest, mate, I was born 92, so it'll be a good go, put it that way. But
right, we'll give it a shot then. So basically,
in for free swally.
Who would you like to play?
Go for a bit of the rivalry, I guess, we told.
Right,
we'll
draw
the am I at self-touch now?
Always wanted to go Trevor McDonald's double.
Right, we'll draw it out the name, see who you get, alright? Okay. And you are playing Grado!
Yeah!
If you were born in 92 and Grado knows fuck all about this season, we could be here a long time.
I got 2 right last week,
you did very well last week.
Yeah, boss sack.
Right,
Okay.
remember, first to 2 wins it. Grado, what's your buzzer going to be?
Meh.
Derek, what's yours?
We're playing for free swally.
Free swally, right, okay, let's go for it then. So I'll read out the description. First person to buzz in gets to answer it, but if you do buzz in, you can't come back in. The other person gets to answer. Ready?
Yeah.
Right, okay. This player made his league debut for Dundee in 1980, spending 4 seasons at Dens Park before joining the Dons. He is now in his 9th season as a regular in the Pittodrie defence. He has represented his country under 21 and full level, making his senior bout against England in the Rouse Cup in 1989. He began his career with junior club Banks Adi, who is a Scotland international right back for Aberdeen. I'll turn the card over.
What knows, man? Is that? It's not Neil Simpson, I don't know. That's someone fucking man I know. Or is
Dalton
it
Sheena?
No, both wrong.
McKimmy?
It's Stuart McKimmy, unlucky. You're not getting the point for that. You gave your answer. Right, this one. On to the next one. Hopefully you should get this. This person was a big money transfer from Aberdeen, spending 5 seasons at Pittodrie before signing for Rangers on the eve of the season. He is a highly rated left back.
Free swally. David Robertson.
Yeah, bastard. We'll just call him.
David Robertson, 1-0, Derek. On to the next player. This player was on the books at Hibs as a youngster, but he was released and subsequently played for Raithrovers and Dundee. He was top scorer for the Dens Park club last season with 18 goals in the First Division, prompting Hibs to pay $500,000 for his services. In his youth, he was a keen supporter of Hibs, and his fine form this season has been a key factor in their Skull Cup success. Striker for Hibs. I'll turn the card over so you can see who it is. What player's that?
No, that's not him. I was going to say Keith Wright, but that's not him.
It is Keith Wright. Well done. Next player. This is for the win. You ready for this? This player was introduced to the Premier League action by Hibs in 1985. He spent 5 seasons as an automatic choice before joining Celtic in 1990. A full cap for Scotland, he was a member of the World Cup squad for Italy, although he did not make an appearance. In his first season at Celtic Park, he scored a solitary league goal, but on the opening day of this season, he scored twice in a victory over Dundee United. Hibs winger, moved to Celtic, Scotland international. Do you want me to turn the card over?
Yeah, go. Oh, what do you call him? To manage them.
Grado.
Right, I've got it, and you give me 2 seconds to get it. John Collins.
2-1 Grado!
Oh!
He's the best at this game, boys. He's brilliant at this game.
I know him.
Sorry, Derek, but that does mean, however, it is a 3-crate rollover next week on the show. So if you want to get involved, you can do that. Tweet us at Football Daft Pod. You need to be over 18, live in the UK. And remember, Beer 52 is a monthly subscription service for beer. They source it from all across the world, from some of the greatest small batch breweries. And if you fancy free beer, getting a carry out, you can do that right now. beer52.com/daft. All we'll do is charge you $4.95 for the postage and packaging. So you'll get a crate of beer for just $4.95, which is good news. So head there right now, beer52.com/daft.
Right, now let's introduce a man who, as a player, was a Falkirk legend and played for both his boyhood heroes, Hibs and Celtic. As a manager, he twice won the First Division with Falkirk, as well as a successful stint at Hibs and Livingston, and went on to win the Manager of the Year after winning the Scottish Cup with Inverness, Caledonian Thistle. It's John Yogi Hughes. How you doing, Yogi? Thanks for coming on.
I'm doing great.
I like your glasses.
I'm loving it.
I like your glasses. They're fancy glasses, aren't they?
That's it. I've not put mine on.
They're not my glasses. They're not mine. They're a boy with
Got one.
Giorgio Armani.
You can't hide that, John. Can't hide that, mate. How have you been? How's lockdown been, mate? How have you been off through this?
I'm alright, honestly, because I just do my own stuff. I'm right into doing the gym. I've got my wee gym out the back. I'm right into cycling. I cycle with John Collins. So I'm away, we're away for a couple of hours, and I just keep myself fit, ticking over. But it is hard. You miss the football, don't you?
Oh, big time.
And everything that's just happened in the last couple of weeks in terms of the Aberdeen boys and the Celtic scenario. It feels like Celtic kind of get started, although they had a great result last night. But you just want to get it going and get in the swing of it, and because that's it. That's what gives us all our talking points.
Exactly, mate. I was missing the football right up until Sunday there when Rangers went to Livingston. I wish it was cancelled again, mate. You know what I mean?
Well, do you want to know something? I was watching the game, and I've been at Livingston, and I'm in Livingston. I was the manager there, and I think they're doing an absolutely different class. But for the sake of football, I wanted Rangers to score, because I thought their performance was absolutely different class in terms of and you have to be honest, in terms of keeping the ball, putting the pressure on. And all they struggled to do was put the ball in the back of the net. But a real good performance. Then, when they don't do that, rightly so, all the credit has to go to Livingston for, defending the way they defended and took someone out of the game.
Aye. John, that's interesting, right? See, you're saying that, right? So say you're a manager in an SPFL club this weekend, right, and you're playing Rangers. Is that exactly the way you would set up to play?
No, definitely no, it's no. But see, sometimes, honestly, when you play the Old Firm, you set up different, but it turns into like that because they're constantly at you, everyone, and before you know it, you cannot get out. Many a time when I go and play the Old Firm, I just go and have a right go and try and play, take the game to them, and all the work that we done on the training pitch, and see, let them try and deal with us. But other times you have to be resolute in your defending, and it goes like that. And the longer the game goes, you get deeper and deeper and deeper. And when the game's finished, the only ones that you're looking at is Livingston. The way they defended, the big boy Guthrie, centre half, rightly so, got man of the match. Right. But I go back and I listen to Boydie after the game, and I had to turn him off because Boydie's having a right go, and I can understand him. But I'm saying to him, you're missing the point here, because the Rangers' performance was magnificent. They played the whole game in Livingston's half. And you know how difficult it is. Celtic have went there and got beat. It's very, very difficult, but I thought the performance was really good without scoring a goal.
That kind of makes me feel a bit more positive now, actually. I might go and watch a game back now.
Well,
we were fucking brilliant there, man.
I've got to be honest with you, John. I disagree. I think Rangers are just shite, mate.
Well, I can understand with that strip one why you're coming like that, but I'm only talking for total football. For the boy John McLaughlin and goals, playing out the back, getting right at them. You know, I was looking at wee Holty making his debut for Livingston, and he hardly touched the ball because he's doing that much chasing. And Rangers passing the ball and interplay and playing between the lines. It was absolutely magnificent, really good. Because that's not an easy place to go. It's not an easy place. And I thought Rangers dominated the game from start to finish with folk putting the ball in the back of the net.
Listen, you don't need to pander to these two, John. You can say what you really think.
But I'll tell you another thing. It's the exact same when you go and watch Celtic as well. Celtic, when they're at it, they're the exact same. You know, the total football, they get at it, you get after you, they get at it, they go and press you, they take the ball off you. When you think you can play out. So it's very, very close, but it's nice to see. I'm just hoping that once again Celtic get back into the rhythm as they did last night, and it's all to play for.
Fingers crossed, man.
Definitely.
What was the last job you applied for?
Last job I applied for, I actually had a job. I had an interview about two months ago now, over in Scandinavia. I thought I had the job, very, very close to getting it, but it never materialised. It was down to the last two, and the other guy got it. So that's the way it goes.
I love hearing about stuff like that. It's like, how do you know these jobs are up for grabs? Are you in a wee database or something like that?
No, I don't even deal with an agent now. My agent, I had Bill McMurdo when I in my early career, then I moved on to Raymond Sparks. Over the last, since I left Inverness, I've not really got an agent. So it's just ducking and diving, word of mouth, and all your contacts to say, listen, there might be something happening over there. So it's like when you're in the management game, you're talking to that many agents and you get to know them, you become friends with them. So it's all these guys that try to do your turn. But it's very difficult. It's very difficult to get back in. It's something that I'm looking to do. When I left Inverness for the first couple of years, I was determined to take a couple of years off. The kids were growing up, and the wife's parents, the two of them were dementia in the nursing home. So I could see the pressure on her. I was away from home, and I said, right, once I'm finished here, I'm coming back. I'm going to take a year to 2 years off. And once that happens, you start enjoying yourself, playing all the golf, cycling, doing all the stuff that you want to do. But I always promised myself, I always wanted to see my kids growing up. Now, that was now at they're 18, they're tapping you for 20 quids every 20 minutes. God, geez, 20. It used to be a couple of quid, now it's 20 quids.
Tell me about it, John. Tell me about it. So getting back to your career, you started off in the juniors, didn't you?
Aye, I started off with Newton Green Star with the Rangers strips.
Aye, but did you not start off as a striker, John?
No, in the juniors, not. In the juniors, I played in midfield.
Right.
And the Newton Green Star, it was like what you'll get doing in Ayrshire, all the teams, all the mining villages all had teams, Newton Green, Jarniston, Bonnerick, all that stuff. So very competitive. And that was probably my first time I started playing men's football, because I was 18 at the time, 18, 19, playing against ex-pros, getting stuck in and really playing men's football. Loved it, absolutely. I'll tell you what I loved about it. I loved the social life. Because although we're competing against all these guys, all the junior boys that come from Edinburgh, once your game was finished, you were back up the tune in Edinburgh, and everybody, we all went to our certain bits, and you got to know them all in a couple of bevies before you know it. You're a night out up the tune, so it was absolutely fantastic. Brilliant.
So I was just going to say, then you moved on to Berwick Rangers. How did you end up going for midfield? I believe you went up to striker at Berwick Rangers, and then How did you end up moving back to centre half?
Well, it was Berwick Rangers. When I went to Berwick Rangers, Jim Jeffries come in and Bully Brown. They weren't there when I first went. They come in, and the two, we never hit it off great because I was a little bit pissed off that they had sacked the old manager.
Right.
And I never knew Jim and Bully at the time. And they were trying to send me back to Newton Green Star because of that. But eventually it all calmed down and I got playing for them. And it was him that says, right, we couldn't win a game. And him that says, right, I'll put you up centre forward. I think we went 22 games unbeaten. But it wasn't a centre forward with movement like Larson or McCoy to these guys. There was more than a batter, man. Got banged up there. And if the centre half was daft enough to try to put his head on it, then it was all that stuff. And that's what it was. And I made sure it was available and fell down. And I put my head in where other guys didn't fancy it. We went 22 games unbeaten. And he sold me down as a centre forward to Swansea City. But I was still part-time. See, the juniors and Berwick Rangers were part-time. I was a painter and decorator. So when I got sold to Swansea City, that was me going into full-time football. And that was at the age of 20, 23, 24. And that was like, wow. You know, just the tempo and the standard of training and the quality of player. And I was never a centre forward, so I was really struggling. I'm saying, this is no for me. But I kept my head down, kept plugging away. And some good times down there. I played with some good players, boy, Robbie James, Alan Curtis, Tommy Hutchison, but Chris Coleman was the left back. So real good times. And I can remember playing in the FA Cup we drew Liverpool at Swansea at the Vetch. It's not like Swansea is now, trust me, it was a shithole. And we were there at the Vetch. And the gym, the pitch was there, and the jail was right next to it. And you're driving in and all, they were all out the window giving you pelters, going into training and all that, and you're just turning around, two's up on your sentence and all that. And the boy shook me down, is that right? I'm getting out tomorrow. And he said, and I'll be down to see you.
That must have been some experience, but playing against Liverpool with Swansea. That was them at the top of their game, that Liverpool side, wasn't it?
That was it. The Beersley, Kenny Dalglish was the manager, and it was Beersley, McMahon, Glenn Hussein, Hansen, all these guys, Rushy, all these guys. But we drew 0-0 with them at the Vetch, and I had a wee half chance with a header in the last 5 minutes. I should have done better with. But then we went down to Anfield on the replay, and they scalped us for 8. 8-0 at Anfield. I hit the post, but I think about it, my old man and my uncle and a couple of the mates, they come down to see the game. They never reported back home for 3 days. They were on this. they were on the last down in Liverpool.
That's brilliant, but so you were like 20. What age were you when you went professional, like full time?
So that's what I'm saying. I've come right through the juniors, part time and full time. That was 24 at Swansea, and
that's quite late one, isn't it? That's quite late for a football player, you know, to be in that position. Did you ever think it before that? No, you wouldn't make it.
No, because you want to know something. At a young age, we all played juvenile. We all played against each other. If I tell you the players, guys like Paul Kane, Darren Jackson, John Robertson, Gary Mackay, David Bowman, Big Gordon Marshall, we all played against each other. And we were all in training at Hibs on Hearts. I was in training at Hibs 2 nights a week. When I was 15, you're saying, I'm going full-time professional. As soon as I leave school, that's all I want to do. And it never materialised. And my ma says, right, you're going to become a painter and decorator, you're going to get a trade. But it was that disappointment that could either make you or break you. And I always had it in me to say, I'll prove you wrong. And that's where, even then, and it was just a case of finding somewhere that I could enjoy my football. The next step, I couldn't get senior, so the next step was going junior. And then for there, building your name, building your reputation. And then a bit of luck. I have to say that, a bit of luck, because as I say, I met Jim Jeffries. Jim Jeffries brought a real professionalism to Berwick, although it was only part-time. Then he sold me to Swansea, but he then got the Falkirk job. And you see how some managers go back for their old players because they know the character. And so when he got the Falkirk job, he brought me back to Falkirk. The problem was he brought me back as a centre forward, and I was never a centre forward. And it goes back to the question, that's where I found my feet, a centre half. It was like, wow, who turned the light off? The whole game was in front of me. Well, this suits me. I loved attacking the ball in the air. I knew my strengths. Played at Brockville. If any of you guys remember Brockville, it was a shit.
I remember it. I was at Brockville quite a lot, so I was. My dad was really friendly with Peter Heatherstone, so we went to Brockville quite a lot. So we did when I was younger. I loved it.
Well,
Producer John there.
John, were you ever there?
I was there all the time.
Is that a Cheshire Cat when you mentioned Brockville there?
But John, when I mention Brockville, when I say a shithole, I mean that in a proper. It was our shithole. It was our palace. It was our chapel.
It was the best.
It was absolutely magnificent because we knew teams hated coming there.
And when you come into the side, John, I mean, you didn't have to play up front. You had Simon Stainrod, you had the likes of Richie Cadet, all the Kim McAllister. I mean, what a team Sweden.
It was me and Stainrod and Sammy McGovern hit the scene. Sammy really took it. Sammy was different class. And as you say, Silky Harrison, Peter Big Crawford Barty. But the players that Jim Jeffrey was recruiting for Falkirk, eventually, you're talking about guys like Kevin McAllister, Simon Stainrod, Tommy McQueen, Alec Taylor. You're saying, right, we've got to do something here. And I was just grateful and thankful that I found my position in the team. And I loved it. And I loved the attitude that Jim Jeffries brought to it. In terms of Brockville being small, tight, the goalkeeper could kick it from box to box. We were right up against boys, right in their faces, right up against them, man for man. And Jim Jeffries, you make sure you get the better of him. So anyone that come to Brockville, you were up for it. And they knew they were in a battle. Many a times we gave Celtic many a game at Brockville. In fact, I broke my ankle trying to tackle Collins, and my studs caught in the turf. And my whole body weight come over the top and snapped my ankle. And that was moot for a long time. It wasn't until the next again year that I signed for Celtic. Once I signed for Celtic, Tommy Burns was saying he was going to sign me the year before, but I broke my ankle. So once again, a little bit of luck that opportunity was still there.
Do you give John Collins about half a mile a start on the bike and then just get that thought in your head and just chase fuck out on the bike? I'm getting you, Collins. I'm owing you one for that as a receipt.
Well, see, when you're cycling with Collins, he has to wear a square hair helmet because he's got that square heat. But you'll never, trust me, no matter how much I cycle, you'll never catch him. He's a machine. He's an absolute machine.
Is he still like that? Is he still as fit as ever?
Oh, he's as fit as a fiddle. Mind, he's on the carbon fibre road bike. I'm on the chopper.
Does he cycle with his tap off and all that? And show his six pack
see all that stuff. Honestly, see if you got to meet him. He's the most funniest guy. He loves the banter. And he's a bit of banter. His banter is a bit serious. But I play golf with him and cycle with him and all that, and you get a right good laugh. And he just laughs at all that stuff. What can I do? But he's got the six pack. He's still a machine.
I've always called him Top Gun haircut because he looks like he should be in Top Gun.
Oh, I know. He was the king of the gym at Celtic until the youngster walked in.
Youngster, brilliant. You'll need to give us his phone number so we can get him on the show, John.
You'll get a laugh. Honestly, you'll get a laugh. He's done me. He gets me, he's got a place in Monaco. He's still kept his wee place, and he says, come on. He says, we'll go over for a week. He says, we'll go cycling. There's that wee daft dog. Go cycling. So we went over with his place and all that. So we went into the garage, and he's got the Union Jack Mini. You know, the British Mini. So he's showing me about, and he says, come on, I'll show you where the Grand Prix starts. And he's driving about. When you get, I don't know if you've been in Monaco, but when you get up the top of the square, whatever it's called, it's the big hotel and the casino, and all the top motors and all that are there. He says, when we're up there, he says, listen, he says, when I pull up in the car, you just get out and stand next to it. He says, because we'll not get parked. It's all the concierge come out for the hotel and all that. So he comes in, parks, I get out, stand next to it. He's up talking to them, he's shaking hands with them all, cuddling them all. And I see them all laughing and they're all pointing, doing, pissing themselves, laughing and all that. So he comes down and he's getting it on the French chat. So eventually all I heard was bodyguard. And I turned around and said, what? He says, I just told you you're my bodyguard, watching the car, watching
the by the way, if John Collins was driving about Glasgow with a Union Jack in his motor, he'd need a fucking bodyguard.
Hey, don't worry, I tortured them for it. I tortured them. But even here in Monaco's all hills. And we're on the bike and he's away. And I say, oh, you need to come down a couple of gears, John. I says, I'm struggling to get up these hills. But battered it in. And he's stitched me up so many times. But I've got my own back plenty of times on him, that's for sure. I remember even on the golf course and all that, because I play golf with him, he's so competitive, really competitive. But I'm constantly winding him up and talking in his backswing and all the stuff that you do. But just a bit of fun.
That's brilliant, man. That's
So,
brilliant.
John, looking back, how did the move to Celtic under Tommy Burns come about?
Well, what happened is I was still at Falkirk. Jim Jeffries had left to go to Hearts. He was wanting to take me to Hearts. I had done something like about 5 years at Falkirk. Paul McMurdo was my agent Orange. He was Maurice Johnston's agent.
That's right.
Maurice was in playing at Falkirk. He was on loan for Hearts. So Paul was about. So that's why he sort of took to me a wee bit. We were in talking to the chairman at Falkirk. Right, okay, right, fine, we're trying to do. We come out, we're sitting in the car park at Falkirk and the phone went. And he says, I'm sitting with a lad right now. And Paul McMurdo goes, it's Tommy Burns. And I'm going, aye. So he comes on and he says, listen, Tommy Burns here, Glasgow Celtic. I says, fuck off, Maurice, stop taking a piss. I thought it was Maurice Johnston. I says, you're taking a piss, Maurice. And I looked at Paul McMurdo and Paul McMurdo's going, Tommy Burns. So I says, aye, he says, give me the phone. He says, aye. He says, he thought it was a wind-up. He says, listen, I want to sign him. He says, Paul McMurdo says, right, come to my house in Uddingston. He says, we'll do it right now. He says, fine. Paul McMurdo says, would you hang? I says, aye, definitely. He says, listen, he says, you've got one phone call. I phoned my missus and I says, listen, I've got a chance. I've got to talk to Celtic. He says, I've got a chance to sign him for them. I says, go and get my old man and tell my old man. My old man's in the boozer. On the never. Right? He pulled him out and says, listen, he says, I think Yogi's got to sign for 30. Went back in, drinks all around, put it on the slate.
Oh, brilliant, man. Brilliant, man. That's what it would be.
I went through to Uddingston, Paul McMurdo's, and I walked into his house and it was like walking into Mini Ibrox. I'm not joking, I had the big Rangers crested carpet in the middle, red, white and blue. He was going up the stair to put a Rangers strip. I'm flapping. I'm saying, Paul, what are you doing? I says, come on, let's be. Don't you worry. He's got the cups out, Rangers cups. Next again minute, ding dong. In walked TB and Billy Stark. Aye, how you doing? No problem. Give him a cup of tea in the Rangers mugs. The two of them were they were laughing. They found it so funny. And then they went in, done the deal, and that was it. Come out, shook hands on it. And the thing about it, Fergus McCann didn't know he was signing me. He just said, right, I've got to sign him. And took the chance. So the next again day, they were playing, Celtic were playing Newcastle. They were opening a new stand.
Aye.
And Rod Stewart was coming in to do the stand, open the stand. Paul McMurdo was the agent for Rod Stewart. So he was at Parkhead with me in the morning doing the medical. And then we were standing about, he says, come on, come with me. He says, we'll go and meet the plane coming in. In comes the jet, Rod Stewart comes down the stairs, says, this is John Yogi Hughes, just signed for Celtic. And he just says, something I wanted to do all my life, wish me all the best. And they all jumped in the limo and left me stuck at the airport. I had to jump in with a snapper to get back to Parkhead to watch a game. And made my debut on the Monday against Liverpool. Ian Rush, McManaman, Fowler, all these guys. And I never had a nerve in my body. That was the last time my father come to see me play. He was a big Celtic man, my old man, and he wasn't in great health. And I made my debut. And I can remember it, we were high up the pitch, and McManaman went on one of the mazy runs, and all the grass was in behind, and he knocked it to go. And I just gave him the clothesline, the body check clothesline, took the yellow card in the place.
Do you know what? I was just about to say there, that was my first game at Celtic Park under my season ticket. And I remember that, and I remember the roar when you put him in his arse, man. It was like, yes, we've got a fucking centre half now, do you know what I mean?
Well, that's what it was. It was like, well, you know what you're getting. Wear my heart on my sleeve and anything to win the game. And that was it. And then for there, it was like, I went there when I was 31. So you're thinking you've done all your apprenticeship, you've done all your learning. It was just up another 2 gears for what I was used to. No disrespect to Falkirk under Jim and Bully, 2 guys that, if it wasn't for they guys, I might have had the chance to go down a different path. They got me at the right time, kept me at the football, and I loved it. I loved everything about Falkirk and the training. But when you went to Celtic, it was like, wow, what is this all about? You're talking about guys like Van Hooijdonk, Cadete, Collins, McStay, Granty, Andres Tom, and the madman coming, DeCanio. Unbelievable. But the standard they training, you probably know all the rondo, they all do 7v2, 6v2 in the middle. Well, I was always one of the 2 in the middle. Because I always kept giving the ball away, the standard and the quality of the rondos, and gave the ball away. But you soon getting up to speed, you say, right, come on, get up to speed. You know what was after. And it was great, but I always found the games easier in the training. I felt the training, we trained at that much intensity and that many demands on us. We could play old v young, and it would kick off. And if it didn't kick off, TB would start it. He would put a tackle in, and next thing in minute it would be up a notch. We would all be getting anything to win that game.
Did you ever have any spare clothes with DeCanio?
No, he kept away from me. He was away from me. He's no that daft. Just give him a big sleep.
Aye, that one. Remember that one when he was walking off the pitch?
When you talk about these guys, DeCanio and all these guys, everything, the higher I went in the game to Celtic, the more humble the players are.
Aye.
Carlo and Paul McStay and John Collins, you're humble, they'll do anything for you, anything to help you, really want you to do well. And that's what I found at Celtic. It was like you're walking in there. Even now, when we go back to Celtic, if I go back and do the radio, or if I take my team back, I can remember taking Inverness back there and they'd done the whole programme, the back page and the inside page, all about myself, a big photograph, and it's like you're welcome with open arms. It's unbelievable the way you get treated when you go back to Parkhead.
How good, what was his style, like Tommy Burns, how good a manager was he, John? What was his style like?
Miles in front. Tommy Burns was Pep Guardiola of the day. Miles in front. Everything that you want, if you want to do as a coach and a manager, even when I helped for the SFA and I tutored the B and the A badges, so I got all the coaches coming through. Bruni was on in my group last year. He's got a right good chance of being a coach. There's so many facets of what you need, and one of them is to go on and demonstrate. Tommy Burns played if he played in the old v young, he was the best player on the pitch. He was outstanding. What a footballer! But his knowledge of the game, showing you your passes, being a centre half, taking time out with you, talking to you, his man management, his people skills, looking after you. But just seeing that's how simple the game is. You know, I can remember playing Aberdeen. Remember Collins? I think we beat them 3-2. I think it was the first couple of games of the season.
It was the first game. It was the first game, and it was 2-0 at half time to Aberdeen, and we beat them 3-2.
Collins scored a goal with outside the left boot, right in the top corner.
That's right.
We were getting beat 2-0, and I was watching it. It wasn't that long ago. I was watching the game. It come on television, and Aberdeen were winning 2-0, and the camera went on Tommy Burns. And they're just standing like that, keep passing the ball, pass the ball, pass the ball. And it was all that stuff, you know, pass it to suck it out, to get in there, to create space. and all that stuff, and every one of them played a part, and it was fantastic to play in. And honestly, when you run out, when you're like myself and you've no made the grade at that age at 16, and you get to the top, any young kid in Scotland to play for any half of the old firm, to go and play for Celtic and run out in front of 60,000 in the tunes, hairs on the back of your neck stand up, absolutely stand up. And to get to do that and play in Europe and play with the players, I'm a lucky boy, really, really grateful.
How big
a lot of them are good friends still.
How big a thing was it for you to realise that dream and get your dad to be there? Obviously, you didn't keep well, but he got to see you playing for Celtic once.
Well, I buried my dad in my number 5, and that's what I keep saying. You know, everybody, you've done it, nobody can take it away from you. You know, you can get credit, and all that, fine. I've done it, I never let myself down. I gave it everything I've got. I conducted myself in the best that I could. And just to have that opportunity, and when my dad died, I buried him in the strip with a number 5 on it, the one that I kept. It was all torn, but torn, and I'd sew it, and that was it. You know, superstition, all that stuff. I buried him in it, so it was absolutely fantastic. It was something. It was a dream come true. My mother had died years and years before, and she was. You know, I've got 3 big sisters, 2 big brothers. I'm the youngest, and we had a real hard upbringing. No much money about and all that. But with my mum, I always says, get into the football. I lost a brother with drugs. He died at the age of 30. And I'm always grateful and thankful that for me, I had the football. He was a great player, but it was the football that kept me on the straight and narrow, training 2 nights a week. And even at times, if I went AWOL when I was a young kid, my coach, an unsung hero for the juveniles, a guy called Alan Docherty, many a time he would bang on the door and say, get your gear, we're going training. Because you knew it was the football that kept you going and kept you away from the wrong crowd. And that was it. So to get for there, no make it, play the juniors, come through the hard way and get to the top and play for Celtic in Europe as well and play with all the great players, you're saying to yourself, well done.
It's like, I'm a Rangers fan, right? But I'm sitting here listening to this and I've got goosebumps thinking about it, that you did have the opportunity to do that and play. It's funny when you're saying as well, playing at Parkhead with the tunes on and all that. I think that sounds brilliant, being a player and hearing the music and the roar of the crowd. Must be no better feeling in the world, man.
It's unbelievable. Even now, my oldest daughter, she used to come and watch Hibs when I was manager of Hibs, and her 3 or 4 years ago, she always says she wanted to go to an Old Firm game, and I says to her, go in beside the Green Brigade, and I says, and we got them tickets, and her and they went in, she come back, she says, what an experience. What an experience that is. She says, the place was jumping. And even now, I've done my time, and I'm a coach and a manager and all that, but when you still go back and you look at it, and you know, 67.
That's the game.
Hey, John, thanks for joining us.
My favourite one, I see the one that they shout at one end of the Glasgow's green and white, and it goes through one end of the stadium to the other. It's like a fucking Hollywood production.
Oh, I know. But that's what football is.
I mean, that's my favourite one and all, mate.
Even Rangers, when you go to Rangers, when you go to Ibrox, the tunes and all, it's different, you know. They really make it to the supporters like you're coming along here, you're going to enjoy yourself, we're going to play a part. And even being an opposition player, you get caught up in it. You get caught up in it. It's very hard noted, but you know, all that stuff, and you go, wow. And as I say, when I went back to Parkhead many a time as a supporter to watch games, I'm out with my camera as well, doing it all and all that stuff. And I think that's what Scottish football is all about. I think we've got a lot of good stuff going on in Scottish football, a lot of good stuff. I mentioned Rangers before. I think Steven Gerrard's been absolutely fantastic for Scottish football. And I've seen Rangers progressing. And it's got to go nip and tuck. It's going to go nip and tuck. But I have to say, I still fancy Celtic to get that 10 in a row.
I hope you're right, John. I hope you're right. So, John, back to your career, mate. How, right, you're saying all that there, right, and obviously it's obvious your love for Celtic, right? How hard was it to leave Celtic when you went to Hibs, when Hibs came calling?
Easy.
Aye.
It was easy. There was a few things. I had come in and took over for big Tony Mowbray, and then he had signed Stubbsy, obviously, to take over for me, but he pulled me and says, listen, you have to fight for your place and all that stuff. And I'm saying, right, but you're not going to spend that amount of money, you're not going to play. Brian O'Neill was coming back for an injury, so there was real competition for there. There was 2 or 3 clubs sniffing about, wanting me to take me on loan or want to buy me. And it always kept me up. Tommy Bonds come on, I really want. I said, no for me, 1 or 2 other clubs. And right, okay, and I was still training away. And then he come and he pulled me into his office. He says, I think this one might suit you. He says, I think you might fancy this one. I says, what is it? He says, it's Hibs. And I just leaned over and shook his hand and says, thanks very much. He went, no, you've just to go to talk to him. I says, listen, I just says, absolutely fantastic, wish you well. And he just started laughing. He says, I knew that. Because as a kid, I was a Celtic supporter up to the age of 14, 15. 14, I used to go to the Leaf Celtic supporters bus, left for the Fit of Leaf walk and went through. But when I started playing, that was because I played on a Sunday. When the juveniles changed to a Saturday, I could play my game and only I could get up to Easter Road, and that's when I changed and started watching Hibs. So when Hibs come in under Jockey Scott, because Jockey Scott had a reputation of being a fantastic coach, and when I went there, I wasn't disappointed. It was absolutely brilliant. But then I'm coming for Celtic, being now I've got it all on my shoulders, being a local boy, born and bred Leafer, on my shoulders with the pressure, saying, right, come on in, let's go. But I loved it, absolutely loved it. I can remember coming back with Gordon Marshall, coming back, and I says to Marsh, I say, it's been a pleasure. I played with big Gordon Marshall at Falkirk, and I was grateful and thankful he was there. He was my travelling partner for Edinburgh. And I says to him, I say, it's been a pleasure. No, I says, no, I says, that'll be it. I says, and that was it, I went to Hibs. But it wasn't the great. Jockey Scott lost his job, and then Jim Duffy come in to try and rescue it a bit. And I felt, even now, looking back, it's something that you're sort of saying to yourself, did I give these 2 guys everything that I had? Could I have done a little bit more? And you sort of, I take the responsibility and blame on myself being a local boy, you know, but that's the way football was. And when Jim Duffy come in, we went into it was the first year of the playoffs. We played Airdrie in a playoff to stay, and we beat them. It wasn't a great game. It was a 2-leg thing. It wasn't a great game. The 2 games, the ball was up in the air all the time. But we stayed in the Premier League. And then the next year, we were struggling, and Jim lost his job, and Big Alec McLeish come in. So I look back at the 2 times and say, could have done more. And you're always questioning yourself, picked up a few injuries. But then when Big Alec come in, we couldn't stay in the league, and we got relegated. And that's been my biggest disappointment in football, getting relegated for Hibs. It really, really hurt me. But what happened was, Rod Petrie had just come in to look after the club, and there was a little bit, still didn't really know the landscape of the football and how it worked. So Big Alec was right on top of him in terms of the quality of player. You're talking about guys like Soze, Mixu, Latapy, Dirk Lehman. Me being a player and a supporter, I'm then going, oh, this is what Hibs are all about. This is what the fans want. This is what I wanted. This is what, now you could see the place. You could see the team going places. And we're thankful that we got back right up to the Premier League after that 1 year in the first division. Right back up in the Premier League, and got another year at it. And I enjoyed working, every manager, I enjoyed working with Big Alec McLeish. I really enjoyed working with Jim Duffy, Jockey Scott. There's no been one that I've been disappointed in. Everyone's got their own different ways to go about it, but you pick up bits and pieces. But for total football and being out there and really capturing your imagination, Tommy Burns was... Tommy Burns. But I'll always be grateful to Jim Jeffries and Billy Brown. they done it different. They know they never had that kind of money to attract the players, so they had to really bring the real good, strong character to the dressing room. Real, and when you're talking about characters, you're talking about nutcases. I'm serious, but guys that will say, I'm not getting beat today, and they've got a bit about themselves. And the guys, and that's probably for the spirit and the camaraderie at my playing time at Falkirk was probably the best dressing room I've been in. It was absolutely, you know, Silky's mate, Stephen Cody. Do you know Cody?
Aye, I know Cody, aye.
You would go into the Falkirk dressing room and the banter and the spirit, and you would go in there and you turn your back, your clothes would be gone, they would be floating in a big bath, or they would be up the flagpole, your socks. Honestly, it was a guy, one of the boys come in with a new car, showing his new car, look at this and all that. Aye. So we went on the minibus away to training. Next minute, the new car turns up at the training pitch, Cody's driving it right across the training pitch, trying to run all the boys over, doing all the donuts and handbrake turns. That was the kind of thing that went on. It was absolutely, and it was all done in good spirit and good fun and a right good time. But as I say, you move on, and some of the characters that you meet in football, even now, you know, if you play and you go up the tune, my missus refused to go shop with me because every 20, how you doing, how's the football, what's this, who's that? Guys you've played against right away back in the juniors and all that stuff. So, as I say, Big Alec come in, and he was different class, Big Alec. He would come on the training pitch and he would be one of the best players on the training pitch. And every now and then he would really have a go at someone and really bring them right down. And I says to him after training once, I says, Gaffer, I says, no, I think you were a bit tough. And he pulled me, he says, come here. He says, what? He says, see if they cannot handle me he says, he was testing their character. If they cannot handle me on a training pitch, how are they going to handle Parkhead and Ibrox? And I says to him, I went, oh, I says, is that the way Sir Alex? He went, Yogi. He says, look at the characters in my Aberdeen team. Him, Wally Muller, Kennedy, right back, Doug Rugby, Simpson, John McMaster, McGee, Dougal McDougall. You're talking about, no wonder they won what they won and had the success that they had, because what I've said to you, that characters, they just know the will to win. And then when you look at Sir Alex when he went to Manchester United, after a while, Brian Robson, Bruce, Pallister, Keane, you know, it's they strong characters, they winners, they leaders. No, not just one leader, they're all leaders. Mm-hmm. And that's what Big Alec was all about. And Zach's very similar to Jim Jeffries.
It's clever, man. It is, because it's giving them a thick skin into it, man. You need to have that going places. So that's quite clever for Big Ek, man.
But you'll buckle. I'm interested now to see all the players, and I'm seeing all the football when they supporters. You know, when the supporters come back, can you still, you know, you have to find the courage and the nerve to go and get on the ball and pass it, because if it's wrong, the supporters will be right on your case, and then do you stand up to it, or do you let it affect you? And if you let it affect you, your performance dips. All your top world-class players and all your top players, they go and they need the supporters there, because that's their stage, and they want to go off and want to put a show on. That's what I believe in, the ones, you know. But there's other ones that went, you know, they take stage fright. So, and that's football, but it's part and parcel of your character and what it takes to be a footballer.
See, when you're saying how much, like, obviously you felt you took a lot of responsibility when you were at Hibs, and then when you went down, was there ever players in that Hibs team that you felt you had to grab by the scruff of it and go, you need to get your fucking finger out?
Well, definitely. I was listening. I done a wee bit on that Gary O'Connor interview the other day. Gary was a young boy at Hibs when I was the captain there. And I was listening after the cup final. I never knew that. After the cup final, he says they were fighting and there was fisticuffs and all that. All my time in football and all the dressing rooms I've been in, I've never seen it or never been involved in anything like that. The dressing room I was in at Falkirk, I was a captain, I run it. So if anybody had something, I would just say, hey, it's the gaffers, and you run it that way. Many a time you would go, like the gaffer would give you a nod and say, can you have a word with him? And you had a word with him anyway. He said, listen, he says, how are you feeling? And even now, looking back with all the mental health issues that are going on, you're looking back now and you say, you never know, the guy might just be suffering a wee bit or lack of confidence. So even back when you go and address things, you're addressing it and say, we need a wee bit more of you, but I'm here to help you. What can I do for you? What can I do for you? What do you need me? What do you want from me? And anything like that. So, and that was the way it was done. But football pitches and on the training pitches, fisticuffs and all that stuff. Oh, there's plenty of that goes on, but I've never been involved in any of it. Honestly, you get kicked, you just get up, you get on with it, and you just go, oh, well, you take it, you dish it out, and that was it. And I just love to train. I absolutely love training and everything about it. Even now, I'm going to tell you something. I've talked right through the career I've had as a player and getting there and playing for Celtic and Europe and all the players and Hibs and playing for the clubs I wanted to play, going on to coaching and management and getting success. I would give the whole lot up, everything up, to start again at 50. That's how much I miss it. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I just
then you wouldn't have your wee dog, John.
Eh?
Then you wouldn't have your wee dog.
That wee dog's been looked out. What? I loved it. I absolutely love it. And everything what I'm talking about, not just playing. I speak to ex-players. I bump into them. I'm saying, do you miss a game? No, really. And I'm going, what? You're joking? No, really. I'm saying to myself, oh, what I would do just to compete, put a strip on, compete, get stuck in, and just play the game. I kept playing till I was 40, and I always played charity matches. Now what you see with the glasses. I can remember playing, I never had the contacts, and I jumped up to head the ball and hit me flush right in the dish. Boom. And I just said to myself, that's me finished. That's it. The ball's coming in the box and I could hardly see it. And somebody says, get the contacts. I says, I probably will, but I never did. But I still keep myself fit, and I got the chance. You think, well, the days are long gone. And Moravchik, Henrik Larsson charity match. You get the phone call to go along, 60,000. I'm like a kid in a sweetie shop. Say, oh, what a chance! Boom, bang, play with all the legends and all that. Went in, met all the boys, went up the stairs, breakfast, met them all, how you doing, all that stuff. Went doing Boyd, Tom Boyd, pick substitute. What are you doing, Boyd? I'm not going sub. You're sub. I've never been your sub. Me and Simon Donnelly. So Simon's fit as a fiddle. He still plays the 7-a-sides and all that. So Simon says to just nudges, says, yo, so watch us after 20 minutes. He says, me and you will be on. Because I was keeping myself really fit doing the cycling. 20 minutes, all the hands are going up, hamstrings, calves. Right, boy, on this ball. Oh, there you go. It was absolutely brilliant. I can remember opposite on the jungle side for the main stand, it got played wide and Jakinovski's got the ball. But we're all over the place. And I ran out and I started rubbing my hands. But on the sprint, rubbing my hands, I have to say, right, you're mine. Oh, did you know he'd started doing all the double step overs, getting all that, and oh no! I'm saying, oh no, I forgot how good a player this guy was, and I'm trying. It just about got there, and I got a wee toe on it, and a wee poked it out for a corner, a wee good defending, and I'm saying to myself, I turned around, Jackie McNamara, young Jackie standing there, just started laughing. He's just shaking his feet. But to go back and get that and feel it again and what it was all like, it was absolutely fantastic.
Mm-hmm. So tell us this one, right? I'm sorry to go back to your time at Celtic, but
what was it like? Falkirk here, Chris, come on.
Listen, see once he scored a goal against Rangers, we need to talk about that, all right? So the header at Ibrox, talk me through it.
Well, what happened, that was in the last quarter of the season, it was nip and tuck for the league. That year, we only lost one game, and Rangers still won the league. We were playing some great football, so it was nip and tuck, and I think it was about 5 minutes to go. It was St. Patrick's Day. I can remember that, and I blame myself for the first one because I was picking up my clam, but the ball came in that flat. I couldn't get a jumper over the top of him, and he just flicked it, and it flew in the top corner. So I'm still playing with all that pressure on me, but to score the goal at Ibrox in the Celtic end, it's just, and I don't know the camera. Actually, I run into the Celtic, but the camera goes on Paul McStay, and it just comes back on me and the tears are pouring down my face. The emotion, I couldn't control my emotions. I know what it meant. And I'm not sitting here patronising or anything like that. I know what I meant. You know what it meant? I can live with that for the next 5 to 20 years.
You've not bought a drink yet.
Oh, I know. So when I come back in the centre circle, the game started. Coisty actually come up and says, well done. He says, you gave me one of it. He says, well done, you deserve that. You know, with that wee stupid grin on his face. And you're sort of looking at him. 2 minutes later, they went up and hit the crossbar. I don't know if it was Gascoigne or Coisty. And then you're looking at him and he's giving you that wee look again. You go, but we got the tunnel 1-1. But it was absolutely fantastic. And I still get reminded about it now.
That was some season, that, man. That's probably my favourite season as a Celtic fan. Honestly, even though we never won anything, it was fucking what a sight to watch. We
played some great football and some great players. See some of the stuff at Di Canio and when I first went in, Paul McStay was injured. He had an ankle operation and some of the bone taking out his ankle, but then he done his rehab, come back. What a footballer Paul McStay was. Jeez, he could not get the ball off him. What a footballer.
Well, Rio Ferdinand names him as his favourite ever player. Rio Ferdinand, know what I mean? So that tells you how good a player McStay was. But
what a footballer was. A lovely lad. A great lad. And that was easy. See, if somebody tried to hit a high ball over the top and you were going up to head it, you were just up periscope, right? And before you knew it, you were just heading it 5 yards, mixed to giz it, head it down to me. Or if you catch it on your chest, before it hit the ground, McStay was on your toes, giz it. If it wasn't him, it was Collins or Granty. And that's what Tommy Burns instilled, playing the football. It was great, I loved it. And it opened my eyes to football a little bit. I've always been into the football, how it's done. My old man was a real sort of football buff in terms of, you know, you don't have to go toe-to-toe and all that stuff. He played junior all his day, inside forward, never got sent off. And he says, I don't know where you get it for, son. He says, you must have got it for your mass side. That was his claim to fame. I'm getting sent off every 2 weeks. But I just loved it. I just loved competing. It was absolutely standing in that tunnel, knowing that you've gave it everything that you've got. Going out on a Saturday saying, I feel a million, I feel like Superman here because I've trained so, my diet, everything, I cannot get beat. That was the mindset I always try to put myself in. Listen, I put my hand up. It was better players and all that stuff, but it was coming up against all these guys that he could run you. You say, well, I better get myself fit and quick. He could out. And I would always say to myself, if he double steps over, like I was saying with Jakanowski, if he does it all that and fires one in the top corner, I'll be the first one to pat him on the head and say, well done. But you're going to have to do it again because I'm coming back for more. And that was, I always try to play in that mindset. But when I went to Celtic, it was a little bit different. It was a little bit, you don't have to go there. Pick and choose your moments. You have to come off. You have to start the play. You have to get on the ball. You have to pass it. You have to get it into midfield. So that's what I'm saying, whoa. And that's where Tommy Burns come in. It was a real education.
Did you play in the free game at the Rangers in 1995? Were you in that game? Was that when you scored?
No, it was a one each game at Ibrox that he scored.
But do you want to know, I see all these games, right? I don't know if you was there. There was a game at Ibrox, 3-3.
Aye.
Aye, that's the one I'm talking about. The one where
that one. That was the best. That was the best Old Firm game I've seen, and I've played in for a long time. And yet, I've never seen it getting replayed on.
That was the first one. That was my all-time favourite Old Firm game.
Remember, that's where Jerry, what's the score came from? Mine, because Davy Robertson got a goal chopped off, and everybody thought the Rangers had scored. That was brilliant.
But that was it. And as I say, you were up against a Rangers team with Gorham, what a goalkeeper he was, and a right good lad, Gorham, a right good lad. Gascoigne, Loudrop, Goffey, I think it was John Brown, Robertson. Gascoigne was the best player I've ever played against. He was a magician. He was absolutely tough as nails. I can remember I hit him once in an old Firm game, and I knew I left a wee bit of knee in there, and I says, he'll not come back for that. I says, I thought I'd give him a dead leg. Yeah, up he just sprung and away he went again. Outstanding. What a footballer.
Aye, some boy.
with football, I mean, Scottish football at that point, I mean, the Celtic team, the Rangers team, they were great teams, you know what I mean? The players were unbelievable, man.
Certainly Rangers, but the Celtic, but it just shows you it swings and roundabout, how it turns and changes and catches. And, but it's good. Always enjoyed it.
Style on producer John's face here, right? Because producer John is wanting me to ask you about Falkirk, can't you, John?
Well, of course, he's a Falkirk. Listen, Yogi is in our player of the millennium. He's given me some of the greatest moments as a player and as a manager as well. He's an absolute bona fide legend. In fact, Yogi, I don't know when the statue construction starts outside the stadium, but we'll wait and see.
Well, John, you want to know something? I actually got quoted saying that they should be building a statue of me, but you know what the reason was saying that? Because it's a wee bit, it still hurts me now, it still rankles when I was leaving. After I gave everything to Falkirk as a player and as a coach, my heart and soul, I worked my socks off. And right for a player, because you've probably seen it at Brockville, but when I was always grateful for getting the opportunity to coach and manage. And we worked ever so hard, myself and Brian Rice. And if you see the players that we brought to that club,
I mean, talk me through Russell, because Russell.
Well, you're talking about. You're talking about Casper Schmeichel. You're talking about Tim Krul. You're talking about Stokesy. You're talking about Gilza. All the strikers that we had. Andy Thompson was for me was the best one out, the most natural one out of them all.
Darryl Duffy.
I don't know how Rangers let him go. And then Higdon, Pedro Martino, Gilza, Stokes, Stevie Lovell, Carol Finnegan, and everything was with Latapy. And then, but we were constantly, we had a great pride in saying we're the hardest workers. We were constantly doing England, watching our reserve games, got to know them all. And that's why they all know you're doing your work. So they say, well, they're workers. So, and then we had an environment where the players would want to come. It wasn't like it was jumpers for goalposts. We really bulked the club up. Eventually we were in at Stirling University. We had the run of it. They were right in it with us. And it was absolutely fantastic. But Russell, when he come, he left Hibs, went to Rangers, and then he ended up at Dundee United. And I think it wasn't working out for him. And then he was basically retired, but still in Glasgow at the age of 32, 33. So I got in touch with him. I said, do you want to come in? He come in, he says, I'll play for a couple of seasons. I think he played till he was 38, 40. He was absolutely outstanding. He's the best player I've ever played with. And I know you're
away you go, you played with Di Canio, your chancer.
Di Canio.
Can he tie you up his shoelaces?
No, I totally understand. Everybody says this, that, and you can judge it where the things that Latapy could do, and probably because I've seen it every day, left foot, right foot, never dive into me with nothing. You would think he had eyes in the back of his head. He was an absolute genius. And yet he was so humble, great guy, help you, Russell and Brent, I'll take the trialists to come and stay with me. Russell, I've got 2 trials, they can come and stay with me. And all that stuff, he was magnificent. And then you would be picking a team, you'd go to Parkhead, Ibrox, and you'd be going through it, you'd do all your tactics, you'd be going through it, you're right back, left back, right, and you'd get to Russell and say, Russell, where's Russell? All the boys.
Have that fag.
You'd be sitting in the toilet, you'd go through it, and the smoke would be Russell Gaffer, I know what I'm doing, trust me, I know what I'm doing, right? I'd go and be man of the match. It never fazed him, he used to laugh, he was outstanding. What a footballer. What a football player that guy was. And the reason I say that is anything he could do with his right foot, his left foot was just as good.
We had Marvin Andrews on the show a couple of weeks back, right? And he was telling us that back in Trinidad and Tobago, Russell's far more famous than Dwight York. You ask them who's the best footballer that ever played for Trinidad, and they all say Russell rather than Dwight York.
Well, that's what, it wouldn't surprise me, but that's the Shreebo, Latapy, Yorkie and Brian Lara.
That's right.
That's the three-ball. And a couple of, I left Hibs. I went into the pub game. I was still playing at Ayr United. And I says, I got back in touch with Russell. I said, Russell, any chance of coming in and just making a wee appearance in the pub? He says, I'll be doing Saturday. I never thought anything of it. I never thought anything. I'm just pouring pints and all that and batting away and ducking and diving. Aye, how you doing? Next thing, a minute, the doors opened up. In walks Latapy, Brian Lara, and about 5 or 6, 6'4", 6'5", fast bowlers for the West Indies. They were in Edinburgh. They were in Edinburgh playing. So, and Latapy says, right, do me me. And it wasn't a case of staying for 10 minutes. They were in there for about 2 hours. All the boys are like, what's going on here? Brian Lara, legend.
No way, man.
Other times, if York is coming up to see him, right, we're going a night out, and all the Falkirk boys, right, we're out in Glasgow, night out, Yorkie and all that stuff. Come on, Russell, no messing in Yorkie. Just right down to F guys. But I seen Yorkie picking his best 11 on the Sky once. And he actually turned around and says the best player, Latapy.
Aye.
It was unbelievable. It used to nutmeg me every day in life. Just used to look that way, and I used to dive in nuts. Many a time he'd come nuts and just start laughing. I'm fucking going to kill you, Latapy. And he just used to laugh. He had me on toast, honestly. Had me on toast. But it was an absolute genius. It was an absolute. The other time was back in Trinidad. As I say, that's a Shreebolt. I think Russell, when he first came to Falkirk, he couldn't even hold a golf club. When he left Inverness, he was playing off his scratch golf. And I think Yorkie's a scratch golfer, and I think Lara's a scratch golfer. So they try and play on all the pro-arms over that way. He goes and stays with Lara. Lara's got a ranch, and he's went in, he's got in at night, and Brian Lara says to him, listen, Russell, he says, watch what you're doing, because I've got a few other guests. Russell says, aye, no bother. So he gets up in the morning, comes down in the kitchen, and a guy's in the fridge. Russell goes, morning. The guy pulls his seats back out the fridge and goes, morning, Mick Jagger. Serious? Russell tells me, I said, serious? He went, aye. He says, Mick Jagger right into his cricket. He says, loved the cricket. He says, so Mick Jagger, he says, and all that. Russell did no bother his backside. And what a guy, when I took him into Inverness, into the coaching, in terms of, see the game would be playing, the information it would put into your ear. You need to do that, change this, watch that, play Shree in the middle, watch this, take him on. And you would just see it. He could see the game, see the way the game was getting played, palmed out. He would tell you how to make it. It was brilliant. He was absolute, and he's a great lad. I've never heard from him. The last I heard, he was a manager in Barbados.
Aye. Oh, see, be fair, see if there's a team.
Yorkie's weird. There you are.
If there's a team that you want to manage.
Eh?
If there's a team you want to manage, it's fucking Barbados, isn't it?
Well,
I can just see. I can just see Russell Latapy being the manager of Barbados, Dwight Yorkie's assistant, Mick Jagger the kit man.
Oh, I know, brilliant.
Mick Jagger does a half-time entertainment.
Oh, unbelievable. But
right, go on. We need to ask you, like, before we go, right, we need to ask you, like, Inverness, lifting the trophy, how good did that feel?
Oh, magnificent. Inverness. I knew what I was going into when I went up there. I'd done my due diligence, and I needed to get back into the game.
Aye.
I need to get back into the game. It was when we beat Celtic in the semi-final. We got lucky and we beat Celtic, but as soon as Celtic were down to 10 men, there was only one winner, the way my teams play and keep the ball. And then we were massive underdogs against Celtic. We had nothing to lose, and that was the mindset. Now we're in the final. We're the Premier League team. We're now the favourites. It's Falkirk who's the underdogs. And it's a whole different mindset. But the preparation, everything we done was fantastic. And to go and win the cup, to go and win it, it'll never be repeated. I don't think it will ever be repeated. And I'll tell you why. You'll get a lower league club maybe getting there and winning the Scottish Cup. But if you look at the league as well, in the SPL, we also finished third in the league that year.
Aye.
You know, so the whole thing to do it with a provincial club, and that's where I take, oh, where's your medals, where's your strips, where's that? It's nothing about, that's not what's important for me. What's important for me is when you get these kind of guys, you need to get them on the coaching pitch and coach them and coach them and coach them. And when you see it coming to fruition,
aye,
and these guys implementing all your training ideas and getting success, that's what football's all about. That's what it's all about. It was absolutely fantastic. Don't ask me what happened after we won it, because I can't remember getting off the team bus the time I got back to Inverness.
Hey, you should have you could have a statue in Inverness or all.
Oh, I know, aye.
A statue in Falkirk, a statue in Inverness, man.
I forgot to tell you, see that Falkirk thing? That Falkirk thing was for everything that I'd done at Falkirk. It was when I was leaving to go to Hibs. They says to me, they couldn't get a deal, and they says to me, give up your Scottish Cup, because the last game was the Scottish Cup final. We kept them in the league and took them into Europe. And they says, give up your 3 bonuses, and that'll be the compensation for Hibs. And I'm saying to myself, listen, I've worked my socks off for that, absolutely everything. And everything I've gave to the club, and you're asking me to do that. And that's when I turned around and says, Christ, give up my bonuses, you should be building a statue. and it still rankles with me a little bit. But that was it. But to get to Inverness, brilliant. And the boys at Inverness, I never knew I had a diamond in the rough. I went in there, right, what have I got? I knew Shinny and all the boys. I'd done my due diligence. And then I went to watch your kids training, and there's this wee diamond just taking the piss, Ryan Christie. And I says to the coach, I says, who's that? He says, that's Charlie's boy, Ryan Christie. I says, he's with the first team. What? With the first team. That was him, never looked back. As soon as he says, listen, you're training with the first team, he just went for there. Whoom. That's what he needed. He was off, and he was nutmegging the boys, and he just seen the game. It was a wee bit like Latapy, and you just knew there's something special in this kid. There's a genius in there. And you just have to nurture him and bring him through, and you know, and you take a great pride for you play a wee part in his where he is now. You've just played same as Arfield. You know, I spoke to Arfield the other day there, keep in touch with all the boys, and you played a wee part in their development and where they are. But Inverness was brilliant. Going back, I'll tell you a story. Going back to that semi-final when we beat Celtic, the family were up. They were at the game, they were up, and the twins were up. My next door neighbour, I stayed on a farm away at the way there was nobody. There was away. I stayed in the Black Isle, 20 miles outside Inverness. I used to cycle in and out. I was fit as a fiddle. I loved it. Straight opposite me was my neighbour. There was nobody to the left or right, straight opposite. And he was a gamekeeper. So one day I drove in, and he's hanging up, he's got the garage door, and there's deer dripping, hanging. So I'm looking at him going, oh, aye, never thought no more. So I went in the house, half an hour later, bang on the door, he says, here, this is meat off the deer. He says, it's off the deer, he says, it's venison. He says, the best meat you'll ever taste. I put it in the fridge, never thought. We played, anyway, Celtic, we played Celtic. The family were up, I come back. This is how your ego's like that. This is how you get brought down back to earth. I've got the head like that, walk into the house, the wife's like, whoa, brilliant Scottish Cup final. She says, come on, we'll take the kids, we'll go for something to eat. I say, right, fine. Then I says, listen, that venison's in there. She says, right, she says, don't worry. She says, go on, you get a shower, do what you're going to do, I'll get that. So she's got the venison and all that. She's got all the roast potatoes, all the vegetables. The 2 girls are sitting, so we're sitting getting stuck in. Wee glass of egg, getting stuck in and that. So one of the girls goes to eat the meat. She goes, She says, that meat's absolute gorgeous. Mind, I'm like that. She says, that's absolutely gorgeous. She says, quick as a flash, the wife says, listen, that meat comes off an animal, and it's a name. Sometimes I call your dad, we're eating arsehole. So for my heat doing like that, I've no way of doing that. No, my daughter think I'm an arsehole.
Brilliant. That's it, man. Your family will bring you down like that, won't they? That's it.
So that's the thing about family. You hang your like that and just go like that. And some of the players up at Inverness and taking them into Europe as well. It was great. And even now, as I say, I sort of say to myself, I'll take a couple of years off. I'm now sort of really looking to get back in. I want to get back in. I think there's a change. I'm seeing a change in Scottish football for the supporters, seeing Celtic and Rangers and the style of football. I'm thinking that the supporters now want the game to be played properly. You need to pass the ball. Your goalkeepers part of it. You know, you need to pass it out. You're an extra player, and I think the fans are really starting to say, "Oh, this is the way the game's played. That's the way I want to see the game's played." And if it's no played like that, I think the fans are now clever enough to say, "Whoa, aye, we won, but I want to dominate the ball. I want to really, really want to." And I think I can see a change and just a wee change in Scottish football and outlook of supporters to say it's not all about winning. It's not all about winning. It's about doing it properly. And I want to be part of that because that's the style of football I like to play.
I'm sure you will, John. I'm sure you'll get in our club soon, mate. I'm sure you will.
Listen, see if there's no...
Could be that Rangers job if Jared doesn't win anything. First second is Ross Wilson. He's right out the door.
Right enough, aye. Ross, have you spoke to me, Ross, since you moved?
Aye, I speak. Keep in touch with you, Ross. He's done brilliant for himself, isn't he?
You just see big staunch Yogi standing on the touchline at Ibrox.
Yeah, imagine that,
Yeah, a pair of brown brogues and a fucking cardigan.
Right, John, every week on Football Daft, right, we have a 90-second Football Daft quiz. You up for it?
Aye, on we go.
Right, so every week we do it, right? On the leaderboard at the moment, at the top of the leaderboard is Mark Wilson and Keith Lasley. They're joint on 14. The good doctor, Kenny Duker and Kevin Harper are just behind in second place with 13. Barry Ferguson and your former co-manager Owen Coyle are joint on 12. Other selected scores include Ian Murray on 7, Jim Leishman on 5, Big Mixu on 3. But at the bottom of the table, strongest man in football, holding them all up, is David McCracken on 1. Anybody you want to beat in that list there?
I want to go right at the top. Who's at the top?
You've got Mark Wilson and Keith Lasley. Both of them are on 14.
There we go. By the way, I've had a wee scout through these questions, John. Some of these are difficult this week. I can't. Oh, he's chucked you under the bus, Yogi. He's chucked you under the bus.
Grado, let's go ask the questions, big man.
Right, okay, Doc. Right, John, are you ready with the 90 seconds on the clock? Remember, you can't pass, Yogi. You have to get an answer.
Is pass not an answer?
No.
If you don't know, just say anything, right?
Right.
Right, we ready, John?
Yep, ready.
And now, who will Celtic face in the next league of the Champions League?
Swedish team, Djurgårdens, is it? Djurgårdens?
What is the name of Edinburgh City's home ground?
Spartans.
Who are the current sponsors of the League Cup?
No
comment. At what team did you have your best win ratio as manager?
Hibs.
What English team are nicknamed the Lactics?
Wigan.
Which Rangers player moved to Aberdeen this week?
Young midfielder, his brother plays in goals for Livingston. Come back to that.
How many points are Hibs on at the moment?
10.
How many goals did you score for Celtic?
2.
In which Scottish ground would you find a famous hedgerow by the side of the ground?
Brecon.
What colour is Arborough's home strip?
Maroon.
In what year were Falkirk formed?
1883.
In what year did you join Hartlepool as manager?
Time.
You can answer that though, John. He's already asked it. So
McCrory. Aberdeen. Ross McCrory.
That wasn't a year.
Right.
Who's the Latin?
Wigan. You're right.
Wigan, aye.
We'll go through the wrong answers, John. Celtic will face Fenerbahce in the next round of the Champions League. It was the other ones that won. Edinburgh City's Ainsley Park.
Ainsley Park. It's where Spartans play, isn't it?
Yeah. League Cup sponsored by Betfred. You had your best win ratio as a Livingston manager, apparently 44.4%.
Is that right?
By the way, that's unheard of. What a record that is.
Yeah.
Aye, it was a year.
Doesn't matter, he still won nearly half the games as Libby manager.
Hibs are on 10 points. You got Ross McCrory. I'll give you Ross McCrory. Falkirk formed in 1876 and you joined Hartlepool in 2012. So going to give you the Ross McCrory one. So I'll give you 6 points, John.
Oh, no bad.
6 points, mate. 6 points.
I wanted you to get 3. I like the way you say 3, Shri. You say it like my gran. Shri. Shri here. Shri. I love that.
That's because there's a wee speech impediment there, right?
Aye, well done, Grado.
But listen, an arsehole's always an arsehole.
Brilliant.
By the way, you went ahead of Jim Leishman.
You're ahead of Jim Leishman. You're ahead of Big Mix.
Well done, Johnny. You beat the Fifers.
Who's coming on board?
Top of the board, Mark Wilson and Keith Lasley.
That's good. I enjoyed that.
John, thanks for taking time out to join us, mate. I've really appreciated the chat. It's been brilliant, mate.
No bother. Top boys. Take care, lads.
Thanks a lot, John.
Thank you.
Later.
Bye-bye.
Cheers.
Right, Who No Wins is back on Football Daft. It's the app that allows you to put your money where your mates are. If you don't know what it is, Who Knows Wins is the social sports game where mates, family and colleagues put their wits for real money and, of course, bragging rights. You can download the free app to play directly against your pals in your own custom league or join one of their existing competitions. They will send you live updates as the games go on, and you'll also get to wind up your mates in the group chat. Choose from football, rugby, horse racing and tennis, or combine any of the sports in your league. Make your predictions on the outcomes of your chosen fixtures. For every result you guess correctly, you get a point in your league. At the end of the competition, whoever has got the most points wins and proves they're the top dog. Whether it's the cost of a round or something more substantial, choose your own entry fee and split the winner's pot as you see fit. But when it comes to the bragging rights, the winner takes all. So congrats to all the winners from last week as the pot gets split 2 ways after a lot of away wins. So get involved. Where is the winners? Did I say who won? No.
No.
Right. So get involved with our very own SPFL Football Daft League now. A £5 entry and you can take us on with the winner take it all. Right, so get involved with your own very own SPFL Football Daft League now, and a £5 entry, and you can take us all. The winner takes all. So Saturday, we've got Motherwell versus the Ackies with young troops.
Motherwell.
I'm going to say Motherwell.
Motherwell.
It's got to be Motherwell, isn't it? Full house, Motherwell. Rangers versus Kerry.
Rangers.
Rangers,
another home win. St Mirren versus Ross County. Tough one.
It's a tough one. I'm going to go for
Draw.
I'm going to say St Mirren. 1-0.
I'm going to say St Mirren as well. Dundee United versus Celtic.
I think Celtic will win.
Celtic.
Draw.
Ooh.
Oh. No like you going against your team there, John. I think Celtic will win. I think they'll play back in winning ways. Aberdeen versus Livy on the Sunday.
Aberdeen will take goals off them, I bet you.
Stick on. Absolute stick on.
Stick on.
Aberdeen, aye.
I would say Aberdeen. It's always the way a team plays well against Grado for them.
Watch this. Ross McCrory will get 3 assists.
Right, he's St Johnstone versus the Hibbies.
Hibs.
I'm going to go with a draw. Right, so get involved in our league right now by downloading the app on Google Play and the Apple App Store. Who Knows Wins? Put your money where your mates are.
So that's been a great show, guys.
Thoroughly enjoyed it. What about Big Yogi? Yeah?
We didn't even touch really. We touched on his Calif Thistle Scottish Cup win, but it would be nice to get him on again to talk about everything else. All these, how he managed Motherwell, the stuff with Rafe Rovers, everything as well.
The way he spoke reminded me of like the Owen Coyle interview.
You know what?
The way he spoke was brilliant.
See how he went on about how much he loves football. It makes you want him to be back and be as successful as possible. You know what I mean?
He's a character as well, isn't he? You need characters in the game.
That's what I mean. Like we've had Jim Leishman on the show, and we've had Yogi as well, and we've had Dick Campbell, and they're all cut for the same kind of cloth. You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
Proper characters of Scottish football.
Correct. Right, Troops, well, I'm going to boost and go and cook my dinner, right?
What you
I'm
having?
going to the Range in Kilmarnock.
No idea yet, mate. No idea. You going where?
The Range, is it no the Range you call it? The Range?
Aye.
I thought you meant the driving range. We're going to play golf.
Right, Grado, see for next week, I want you to have that guitar for the show,
Right.
because
Well,
your first
mate.
live performance.
Mate, you can do the outro on your guitar.
Right, I'll
Oh,
do it. Right, yeah, what it is, right before I play the guitar, right? We need to find out. So,
What do we need to find out?
how do you go on in Big Brother?
Oh, listen, there's somebody at my door actually, I need to go. Right.
Oh, next week. Next week.
Right, okay.
Sign up /football daft. Get Rangers daft and Celtic daft up there. You can buy t-shirts, shop.spreadshirt.co.uk /football daft, and get us on Twitter at football daft podcast on Instagram, and football daft on Facebook.
By the way, I'm not even joking. There is somebody at my door, I need to go.
Right, see you later.
Bye.
Lads.
Audio Frontier.